Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. XRP on-chain data metrics indicates that parabolic price action for XRP is not far off. It's, the data that I'm looking at right here, and I'm going to show you a couple charts, it paints a pretty clear picture. If history indeed is repeating itself, we really are super close to seeing some real fireworks for XRP price action. Just wait, I got a couple metrics in particular that I want to highlight. Also, I've got a story unrelated to this that I found fascinating, so I'll share this after I go through those data and that analysis here. But this is from the Daily Hodl. This article is titled, Digital Assets Could Pose a Threat to United States Dollar Dominance in the Future. Says United States Federal Reserve. Well, how about that? You know, I know this. I'm willing to bet that the majority of you listening are also aware of this. Of course, decentralized cryptocurrencies are a threat to fiat currencies. Of course they are. Now, where I live here in the United States, it's being downplayed, the degree to which this is a problem. Now, and I'll admit in the short term, yeah, there's certainly no risk here. But eventually, yeah. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. But before going any further, I want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. Excuse me. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So, by the way, I want to highlight this too because I haven't talked about this in I don't even know how many days. I actually meant to yesterday and then I failed to, but I think I did anyway. But here's the Songbird token, which is live. This is a public blockchain with a token that's actually being traded in at least one open market. There's only one open market available. It's Bitrue. That's the only exchange where Songbird's being traded here. And of course, this is an airdrop that XRP holders received if they were holding XRP on the snapshot date back in December of last year. And Songbird currently at 43 cents. So it's been rather volatile. You may remember that the day it was launched, it wicked up to like 90 cents and then settled around 30 cents. Then after that, it ran up to about 65 cents, and then it went back down to close to 30 cents, and now it's up to 43 cents. So it's fascinating to see how volatile this asset is, especially considering there's not that many people trading it because it's only in one market on the entire planet. But it's neat to know that even with that few people trading it right now, it's already up to that price, and I cannot wait to see what happens by the end of this market cycle to see what kind of price action it has. I'm optimistic because I know the market moves in tandem, and it's going to come down to a number of things, including how many cryptocurrency exchanges ultimately end up trading it. Though that's the other thing. How much demand is there going to be if it's just on one exchange? Well, that's a factor, right? And then there is also the Spark token. Now, this is not live. This is an IOU that the blockchain is not live yet, but it should be before this market cycle's over if Flare, their rough timeline ends up coming to pass here. But even the Spark token IOU traded at 97 cents right now, so interesting to see. All right, so let's talk about these on-chain metrics. There are a couple in particular I wanted to highlight. Let's start with the one that I found to be most interesting, which is number of new accounts activated on the XRP ledger. And it's been, I don't know, probably a couple weeks or so, I think, since I last talked about this particular metric. And it looked like it was starting to trend up, but now we've got more data, and oh yes, it is. Right where I'm circling right here, if you're looking on your screen, you can see this is mostly just maybe the tail end of September, but mostly October here. And you can see that over this time period, the number of new accounts being activated has really been ramping up. And this is to be expected in a bull market. This is to be expected when there's more. Like, let's be real here. XRP, it's supremely undervalued from where it should be right now, and I believe personally that its price is artificially suppressed because of the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit. I don't think that's going to prevent XRP from running parabolic this market cycle. I've talked about that ad nauseum, so I don't want to get into my reasons why again in this video, but I don't believe that's going to slow things down here. And so we are starting to see things ramp up. I mean, here, just to throw some numbers out, let's go back a couple months. Why not? When things were less exciting, people were claiming we were in a bear market after Bitcoin and the whole crypto market tanked beginning May 19th. Then you fast forward to July. That's roughly the area where we saw the bottom. And so here I just pulled a random date, July 25th, 1,682 new XRP accounts created. And then you see it's trending up even to the next month. We had a few days that were actually pretty big. Like here's August 20th, 4,836 accounts created. You can fast forward, you can see it's all over the place because it's crypto. So even new account activations, yes, it's going to vary quite a bit, but it looks like it's trending up as of late. And so you get to like, here's middle of September, September 16th, 3,242. But what's been happening the last couple weeks? Well, look at this. Let me show you some of the higher numbers. September 30th, 6,686 new accounts. October 5th, 5,940. What's this one? October 7th, 7,065 new freaking accounts. And here's the highest one, October 11th, just a few days ago, 7,716 new accounts. Now, part of the reason that this is worth noting here is that this is the type of spike that we saw. Now, obviously, these numbers are bigger, but it's the type of spike that we saw before XRP went ballistic in 2017. So let me pull up this tab now. This is the same chart, but over a different time period. So the first chart I showed you, here it's back on the screen now, it's number of new XRP accounts activated over a 1-year period from today and 1 year back. This one that's now on your screen, it's the same thing, number of new accounts activated, but the different time frame. It's 4 years back up to today. So it captured the tail end of the last bull market here. And so right where I'm circling, you can see, actually I want to mention this first so you can get an even better idea of like how few accounts are being created. Let me just cover this first. This is a chart going back to 2013, number of new XRP accounts created. And so if you go back to the beginning of 2017, before the real fireworks started. I mean, look at this. February 2nd, 2017. I just picked a random day. 85 new accounts created. 85. That's not some sort of miscalculation. 85 accounts. And we're talking now about the other day I just highlighted. Like, what was it, 3 days or so ago? 7,700 new accounts in one day. But at the beginning of 2017, it was 85. And so if you look to this, let me go back to the other chart now. So now this is the chart that shows the last 4 years, number of new XRP accounts created. So what happened here? You get to November here, and things are ramping up. 1,000 new accounts created. Now, I know that's way less than what we're seeing today, but back then, that was unheard of. 1,000 new accounts. And then what happened by the end of the month? Look at this as I'm climbing over. Here's November 20th. 2,168 accounts. So that's a big jump up. What about this? November 29th. 5,103 accounts. November 29th. That was an all-time high at that point, number of new accounts created. Right? And it shouldn't be surprising that was happening, but what happened right after that? I say right after, it was many weeks later. XRP went on its biggest run in history. And how many accounts were created then? Here, I'll pick a few random dates. This is insane. December 15th, 2017. 20,158 new accounts. 158 new accounts. Right after we started seeing this notable uptrend, right? And then here's another, I think this is the highest one ever. 21,402 new accounts on December 29th, 2017. And so I'm just saying, I don't know that the time frame is going to be exactly the same. That's not the point. I'm just talking about the upward trend. It's worth noting, especially given that analysts that I follow, the ones that I respect and follow, they do believe that we are at the tail end of the market cycle, and they disagree to some degree. So whether they think it's Q4 or Q1, some even think it'll bleed into the second quarter of next year, whatever they think. The point is, there's this general consensus that way more likely than not we're at the tail end here. So again, look at what led up to the blow off top, where you had 5,000 new accounts per day in 2017 in November, and look at what's happening now. We're starting to see an increase here, which led to even just, like I said, a few days ago, about 7,700 new accounts in one day. So if history is to repeat, as many analysts think is going to be the case, that blow-off top, when that happens, it should be right after this. And I say right after this, it doesn't mean literally like it's going to be the next week or even the next month necessarily. But the point is, we're seeing this trend upwards. We are in a bull market, so this shouldn't be terribly surprising. And then there was also this. This is over the last 12 months, number of payments from one account to another, and it shouldn't surprise you anyway, but you can see if you're looking at your screen right here, look at this trending up. Just on October 11th, 278, I'll round the number, 278,000 payments from one account to another. It's It's heading in the right direction, folks. And so to see this and know that there are this many people, it's just like, it's like I've made this stupid analogy, but it kind of makes sense to me anyway. It's just like, imagine kinking a hose. It's like at some point, like when you unkink the hose, like the water spurts out really fast right here. Well, we're at this point where it's like all of these people are piling into XRP. You're seeing the incline here. And at some point, this thing's just going to go. The hose will be unkinked and the water's going to spurt out really fast. It'll be a bunch of sprinkles of XRP all over the place, damn it. It's going to be fantastic. It's coming. It's just a matter of time here. So we got to be a little bit more patient, but history really does seem to be repeating itself. And given how history really has been doing this for 12 years to this point, like do we really believe that this is the moment where that cycle is going to be broken and history is actually right now going to stop repeating? It's done it all the way up to now, this whole past 12 years up to this very moment, but is now actually the point where that stops. I don't buy that. I see humans acting about the same. I don't think that there's I just don't think it's clear to the people participating in the market which cryptocurrencies deserve to be here. They're not parsing them out sufficiently, looking at fundamentals or utility. Not sufficiently. Almost nobody's looking at that stuff, and there's this frenzy around it all still. I think it's going to be more or less the same, but exponentially larger. Other than that, so that'd be the only thing that's different. It's just more people, more money, so exponentially larger. That's what I think. Now, and by the way, worth mentioning this too. Total number of XRP accounts: 3,474,312. You round it up, about 3.5 million XRP accounts right now, and don't forget. At the point when the last rally started, mid-December 2017, there were only about 700,000 accounts. It's going to get crazy. I am very much looking forward to this. All right, into this next piece, the Daily Hodl. Digital assets could pose a threat to United States dollar dominance in the future, United States Federal Reserve says. Digital assets could pose a threat to the supremacy of the U.S. dollar, according to a new report posted on the Federal Reserve's website. Researchers at the Fed say that a shifting payments landscape and the rapid growth of both private sector and government-sanctioned digital currencies could reduce reliance on the dollar. And here's a quote. Changing consumer and investor preferences, combined with the possibility of new products, could shift the balance of perceived costs and benefits enough at the margin to overcome some of the inertia that helps to maintain the dollar's leading role. And so consider this. For the United States dollar to lose its global reserve status, you know what you need? You would need central banks the world over to get rid of their USD holdings. That's what would have to happen right now. Because, look, there are a lot of geopolitical implications for any nation that's actually going to do, like, do you want to be the first or second or third nation to do this? But, like, if you see this happen en masse, yeah, that's going to be a problem then. And I still insist, like, you cannot debase a fiat currency the way that the United States dollar is being debased in perpetuity. Like, you know, United States, frankly, getting away with it because it is the global reserve, and it would just be chaos, absolute havoc for so many humans on this damn planet if things start to go south. And so people don't want that. Even countries, a lot of countries where, you know, they have an interest in the United States dollar, even though they don't control it. Yeah. And so you can imagine, like, there can be bullying tactics and stuff too for anybody going against it. It's like there's a lot of dynamics to consider here, but still, like, what's going to happen organically? Well, like I've said for a long time, the idea of a cryptocurrency, whatever it is, whether you think it's Bitcoin or XRP, pick your crypto, or maybe a cryptocurrency that doesn't even exist yet. If you think that a cryptocurrency it can be used in place of fiat currency, then I agree with you. I think that can occur organically. It's just for most people the world over, that's not a problem that needs to be solved. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking, if I'm adding a cryptocurrency to my life to use in place of my fiat currency, I'm adding friction to my life. Why would I do that? And tax implications on top of that. Because right now in 2021, cryptocurrencies are not legally suited in the United States to be used for money. Like, you can do it, but there are just outrageous tax implications doing it. And so, but even outside the tax implications, I'm like, the dollar works for me. Why would I do that? Why do I want to add a new step or process or procedure right now? Like, why would I do that? I already hold XRP in a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. So in terms of, hedging against tumultuous times or this or that, whatever you think the reason is, I've already got that. Why do I need to actually use it though? And I don't. But that's what I'm saying. If you have third world countries with runaway inflation, this or that, those are the first places where I think you'd see it take hold. Because eventually cryptocurrency volatility is going to be less than some of those types of situations, and it'll take hold. And so eventually that grows enough, it can certainly threat the dominance of the United States dollar. I just don't think that's an imminent threat. And I think rightfully the Fed gets that too. They do agree it's not. So check this out. Despite these concerns, the Fed doubts that digital assets could ever completely topple the world's leading fiat currency. And here's a quote. It is unlikely that technology alone could alter the landscape enough to completely offset the long-standing reasons the dollar has been dominant. In sum, absent any large-scale political or economic changes which damage the value of the US dollar as a store of value or medium of exchange and simultaneously bolster the attractiveness of dollar alternatives, the dollar will likely remain the world's dominant international currency for the foreseeable future. Okay, there. So it will remain that for the foreseeable future. It'll be dominant. But there are things that, the way it's being debased right now, I'm telling you, you can't do that in perpetuity and then think that at some point there won't be a very serious problem. And so I'm not one of the people that's a doomsday. I don't want this to happen, but I'm just saying we've seen this movie before throughout history when governments have abused their fiat currency. We know how this ends. Not very well. They go away. The average lifespan of a fiat currency is something like 28 years. Most of them, they don't last. So in that case, the USD, it's well past its prime, I'd say, at that point. So eventually, yes. But I don't think the dollar is going away. I don't think fiat currencies are going to stop existing because governments want to have autonomy. And there's a way that they can make sure that they do without outright banning cryptocurrencies. These things can exist in harmony together here. But no, I don't think for a moment that governments are going to give up that type of power. I really don't. But you can tell me what you think below. I just want to share some thoughts. I always find that to be an interesting topic. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.